How many of you have ever interviewed for a job? Okay. Has one ever felt like the other? In 2009, as a job developer for the Pikes Peak Workforce Center, I put over 300 young people to work in a 90-day period, utilizing over 160 discrete employers. I sat in on over 60% of their interviews. Yeah, it was a lot. So what I was able to see was whether or not my matchmaking had been successful. I specifically chose the businesses, I specifically chose a young person and put them together. And then I got to see if it worked out. Even more important to our discussion today has been my own personal experience as I go on my own quest for my own life partner. I dare say that I am a world-class dater. I've dated men from over 25% of all 7 continents. And I've actually clearly lived to be able to tell about it. And my experience isn't just with the variety of men that I've dated, it's with the quantity of men that I've dated. I've been dating for well over 20 years, so you might say that I could be a little good at it. Madam Toastmaster. Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, this morning I will make 3 very simple points that will convince you beyond a shadow of a doubt of the similarities between job seeking and dating. Number 1, both will require you to know yourself. Number 2, both will require you to know the other. And number 3, both will require you to establish some kind of rapport. So why don't we dig a little deeper into number 1? Most people, job seekers and daters alike, really don't know themselves. And their resumes don't necessarily tell their story very well. They fail to capture their very own unique selling potential. Either because they're not able to articulate what they're good at, or they just don't know. Now let's switch over to dating. And we're going to use my very own favorite cyber stomping ground, Match.com and eHarmony. And taking a random sample from today's daily matches, I can tell you that 70% of all daters online have no idea what they're looking for. They're either going to lament about why they even have to tell you, they're going to tell some kind of a joke, and in a worst case scenario, they'll show you photographs, not of themselves, but of their dogs in some kind of a landscape. So help me understand, how does that advance our ability to get to know one another? It really doesn't. Much in the same way that writing a very poor resume will land you in pile B, not doing a very good online profile will not get you where you want to go. If I could tell job seekers and other online daters a few things, I would tell them that it's really, really important that you find yourself and then be able to define yourself. I would also tell them to be very open and honest about exactly what it is that you bring to the table. And stop doing this mental comparison inside of your head to other people. Just step out and be the very best you that you can be. So let me tell you what I know for sure. There is absolutely someone for everyone, and that the perfect job exists for all of us. Naturally, this is going to bring me to number 2. What do you really know about the other person? I recently sat in on an interview panel with people that were going to be interviewing for a job on my team. Let me tell you, some of those people didn't even know the position they were applying for. They hadn't taken the time to Google me. They didn't know anything about our organization. They didn't know anything about the Workforce Center. And what this led me to believe was, I don't really know if they want to work with me. I mean, we understand what the economy looks like right now, and clearly these folks were desperate. But it didn't work very well on their behalf. Likewise, I was recently dating a very dapper, dashing, and delightful dude. I mean, he was really, really good looking. In fact, I thought, oh my gosh, this guy could very well be the one. But he kept on talking, and as he went on and on and on, I realized that he never really took the time to ask me anything about myself. So while he seemed very interesting, he didn't seem very interested in me. And so the question I asked myself, how does he really know whether or not he could potentially be a good fit? Now, I suspect that he was naively being sincere. He didn't have a nefarious intention, but it wasn't my goal to just fall into something that might not be a good fit. I'm not from Missouri, but you do need to show me. My advice, when you interview or date, know the person, know the company, Google them, know something about them, check out their website, and know something about the kinds of things that are important to those people. Whether I'm dating or interviewing a job candidate, my interest is definitively piqued when the person has actually taken the time to know a little bit about me and the kinds of things that are important to me. So is it okay if we recap? Point number 1, it's important to know yourself. Point number 2, it's really important to know something about the other person. My last and final point is a brief but very, very important one. Number 3, establishing rapport. You can do that via the interview or the actual date itself. I can't even tell you how many people walk into interviews and or dates with no game plan, no blueprint for where it is that they would like to go, or how they're going to execute the course that they want to follow. If you know yourself and you know the other, go ahead and be diligent about establishing a very sincere rapport by knowing your very own must-haves, can't-stands, and deal-breakers. I can't tell you how many people I have seen that end up bamboozled and hoodwinked into jobs working shifts that they never ever wanted to, or dating people that they don't like simply because they failed to take this very important and crucial step. My advice, have a game plan, and then execute by establishing rapport to achieve your goals. It has been said that to be interesting, one must be interested. And it is in the being interested that you will find out the kinds of things that are important to you. So let's pull this all together. Job seeking and dating are alike because both endeavors require you to 1, know yourself, 2, know the other, and 3, to establish rapport. In conclusion, whether you're dating and whether you're job seeking, whatever you do, never let them see you sweat. Desperation is never attractive. It all comes down to wonderful, fabulous, marvelous you. You are the most amazing you ever made, so take the time to do an exhaustive inventory of all of the things that you were good at. Be honest about who you are. And when you do this, you won't have to take the first thing that comes along.